Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Parent Pivot Podcast after the 4th of July weekend. I'm Steve Cummings.
And I'm Julia Cummings.
And I don't know about you guys, but it was hot here in Georgia.
Still is. We're sitting in a very hot room right now.
Our sunroom does not have the air conditioning where we record in. So we're literally thinking, if you hear us talking faster, it's because we want to get out of this room.
It is really hot in here.
Really hot in here. So anyway, there's a lot of things going on and things. But we always start off, sweetheart, what are we talking about today?
Well, I wanted to have a moment today where I am being vulnerable and honest about my struggles this last week.
Should I get a box of Kleenex?
No.
Sure?
I don't think I'll cry.
Okay. All right.
And now that you said that, now I'm thinking about it. So
this is what we do. We're here to share with you in real time how we're going through life with adult children and grandkids. And as you know, our kids, the only ones that live here are our daughter and her husband and their little girl, Florence. Mm-hmm. And they were gone for this weekend. They took off to go to North Carolina.
They've been gone for 10 days.
They were gone for 10 days. They had a blast. It was the first time Florence got to go to the beach. And, of course, we are beach people. It is where we get life. So we're like, oh. Yeah. And meanwhile, the boys are out on the West Coast enjoying time. And so anyway, I'm just taking a little time to get to the point where you can talk about.
I think I'll be fine. But forgive me if I do start crying because it was a really tough week for me. And the reason why I want to share this is because, we get on here and I've said from the beginning, we're not experts. We're living it. We're learning as we go. There are lessons learned as we go that we share with you. But it is, real stuff in real time. So
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. So this week was tough for me. It was a very quiet house. And I think we mentioned that last podcast that
right.
The kids were gone.
They were gone.
So the house was quiet. And I woke up the next morning in tears because it was so quiet. And then 4th of July was just really tough for me. I woke up that morning in tears as well. It's just hard. It's hard having my kids elsewhere. It's hard having my grandchildren elsewhere. And, on 4th of July, I was in tears. So Steve's getting everybody on FaceTime so that I can FaceTime everybody.
Yeah. I mean, usually we're like, okay, let's call Wes. We'll get the kids on FaceTime. Okay, let's call Campbell. We'll get Zion on him on FaceTime. It's like, okay, then we end up talking to Jamie Lynn and Florence and stuff. So,
yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know about you all out there, but this is something I struggle with. And holidays are particularly rough when you don't have your family with you. And I felt the hole and ended up having kind of a pity party week where it was like, I don't want to be here. I want to be wherever they are. I want to be in California. And so there was a lot of that. There was a lot of downtime for me and just crying. With that though, and this is what I'll say about that. You have to allow yourself to feel it. I think that's important. Luckily I have a spouse who is willing to listen to it.
Oh, me.
Yeah, that's you. He hugs me. He comforts me. He says, let's get out of here and go do something.
Let's call the kids on FaceTime.
Because honestly, if it was left up to me, I would probably just curl up and cry and maybe watch TV all day or something just to get my mind off of whatever it is that's bothering me. So, but I do think when you are in any kind of situation like that, where you are feeling strong emotions about something, it's important to allow yourself to feel it. When we try to shove it down and not feel it, it will manifest itself in other ways. So maybe you eat or drink or watch TV or do other kinds of vices that perhaps aren't the best. Or maybe you're snapping at your spouse or snapping at someone else because what's happening inside is just sitting there. So it is important to kind of verbalize it, talk through it. in our case, we were on the phone talking to the kids. That made me smile. That was all good. Round two, though, started that evening when everybody started sending their 4th of July pictures. And I'm realizing what I'm missing with all the grandchildren. When you see the fireworks through their eyes, when you see the beach through Florrie's eyes, when you feel like you're missing out on moments that are tough. So I found myself in tears again. And just again, like I have to work through that. I have to cry. I have to process it. I have to put one foot in front of the other. I have to remember the plans that we have going forward for seeing and spending time with children and grandchildren. I have to remember that we have our own lives that we are living and it's good. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And so I would say to husbands, if you've got a wife like mine who needs to get that off of her heart, the first thing we want to do is fix it. Or we want to say, oh, we want to counterbalance what's going on. That doesn't work. Ladies, raise your hand. That doesn't work, right? No, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear that I just need to get this off my heart. They know all those answers that we want to tell them, but it's just about being a good listener and good validator. I think I did a good job on that, didn't I? I didn't try to tell you, oh, don't worry about that. But that's what I did. It's like, oh, let's go talk to the kids. Let's dial them up. Usually they're dialing us up. And again, it's because, well, we don't want to intrude on them. But
Right.
It's like, we're popping juju. We can intrude. That's part of what grandparents do. It's like, hey, if it's not a good time to say, hey, can you guys call back? I think the other part of it, as I was thinking about this, is when we raised our family, we raised a very emotionally close family.
Yeah.
We're a tight family. And our kids have their own text group. They call them the OGs. And so Wesley, Campbell, Jamie, and Jack, just the 4 of them, just our 4 kids. They've got their own text group. And so they'll talk to each other. But we love being together. Mm-hmm. And everybody truly misses each other. So there isn't anybody that's like going, I don't want to do this or distant with her. But so it's kind of one of the positive. I mean, the positive thing is you're emotionally close.
Yeah.
But if you're separated geographically and you're not in the same city, the same town to share holidays, it makes these holidays kind of hard. And usually you just think of Thanksgiving in December, but 4th of July for us is like we think beach. We think fireworks. We think get-togethers, barbecues, stuff like that. And we've hosted them here in Georgia before. We get to actually shoot off fireworks in the sky.
Yes, we do on our property.
Which we got to do last month for the grandkids. When they got here, they thought that was pretty cool. I said, hey, you guys, we get to go to Pop and Juju's. And guess what? We do a fireworks display like Disneyland. And they thought that was so cool. So, yes, you've got to embrace, hey, we've had these events and we can't do all these memories all the time together because we're so geographically separated. But, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was just looking at the mic. It's all yours. Back to you.
Yeah. And for us, there was a double whammy in this because the day after 4th of July is my oldest son's birthday.
Yeah.
And he was turning 35. That seems like a pretty...
We have a 35-year-old.
I know. It seems like a pretty significant birthday. And
I'm not that old.
We missed that too.
Right.
So, it was
just... But last year for 4th of July, we were all together as a family. And it's the first time we've been together in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And the kids got to meet each other's kids.
Yeah.
So again, one year it's like, whoa, top of the mountain. The next year, we're like looking at everybody else enjoying themselves without us.
Yeah.
It
was definitely tough.
Yeah. So life is going to deal those things. And we have to, I'm not going to say that to her in the moment because she's just going to hit me. I've just learned that.
Not literally.
No, but it's just like, yeah. But we went out to the lake to have lunch with your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we found things to do. We found things to do, and that was good. I would say I was just kind of mopey through it all, which Steve's a trooper when I get mopey. So that was all good. And today, Jamie Lynn and Taylor and Florrie are back. Oh my gosh.
Watching them pull in the driveway and that little girl just gets to see Pop and Juju again. That was like So we said, hey, Pop and Juju want to take you guys to the beach. And they're like, yeah, let's go. They're all up for beach trip number 2. So,
Yeah.
and we can have a whole week of that if we want.
Yeah. So the reason why, again, just wanted to share that is to let you know you aren't alone in this. The emotions that you feel are emotions we feel, are emotions that probably millions of moms and dads feel at one time or another. So it's just an adjustment. And so I go back to things that we have talked about many, many times, which is you got to have your own life away from your kids. You've got to have, if you are married, you've got to have a marriage where you're on the same page and doing things together and being a couple again. And oftentimes, when your kids leave home in those college years, you're learning how to do that all over again. How do we date again? How do we go and find things to do that we both do? Because oftentimes we get settled into our separate lives. Well, I'm into this and he's into that and whatever. And they may be separate, but you've got to find the thing that you can do together, whatever that may be.
Like eat Mexican food together.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, simple things like that. We live in a 1 mile circle kind of.
Our neighborhood's like one circle with 40 properties around it.
Yeah.
So.
And so, oftentimes after dinner, we're just going for a walk and talking. Might run into the neighbors and talk. But so anything where you are gathering with others. We also had an incredible blessing, and I'm going to mention their names on air.
Oh, here it comes. I hope they're listening.
Friends Zane and Kelly Hall.
Oh, yeah.
We're driving through town.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
That happened this week. That was on Friday.
No.
Thursday.
Yeah. Driving through town and said, hey, can we meet? So we stopped at Starbucks and we all
and we've known them for years, and we went to the same church in Southern California.
Yeah.
Our kids are all kind of matched up together. They all know each other. They're friends. Their kids are now spread out all over the country, kind of like ours, but their kids are migrating to the East Coast.
Yes.
And stuff. So they moved down to Florida. I'm going, hey, I traveled down to Florida. Like, let's set up a time. So Zane and Kelly, woohoo!
So that was fun. That was a blessing for us. And
that would almost call it the highlight of the weekend.
Yeah, I think that was.
You hear that, you guys? Y'all were the highlight of our weekend.
So, it's also sometimes focusing in on those positives. Even in the midst of all this, I've been trying to wake up when I wake up kind of with that sad feeling of, okay, Lord, what do I have to be grateful for? And I kind of have a checklist of things that I'm going through and saying thank you for. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's also something that you need to practice.
I also want to say we have another shout out to another couple that invited us over for brunch the other day.
Yeah, I don't think we want to say their names.
Can we give them a shout out?
No.
All right.
They know you know who you are.
You know who you are. Thank you for the wonderful brunch and time together. But I was just going to say how much we loved that time.
Yes, we did. It was somebody who invited us to brunch. That was very sweet. I don't know.
At their house.
Yeah, I don't know how they'd feel about that. So that's why I would say that. Anyway, trying to have good boundaries. In any case, that's my story. That's kind of all I really wanted to share about our lives this last few days. And I just felt like, it's important to let y'all know who do listen that we go through this. That we're in the same boat.
And so dads, husbands out there, again, keep a list. Okay, Facebook the kids. FaceTime. You can Facebook the kids too. I'm just not on Facebook. FaceTime the kids. Go for a walk. Go for a drive. Go out to your favorite restaurant. We also are shopping for bathroom stuff because we're getting a bathroom renovated. It's spend time together. Don't try to fix her emotions. I don't own her emotions, and I keep telling her she doesn't own mine, and things. So sometimes things can cause you to kind of like, okay. And sometimes I just need to give her a moment. Like I'll go watch the PGA Tour or a baseball game or whatever, and she needs an hour in the bedroom just to decompress. And then I'll say, come on, let's go out to dinner or take a walk or whatever. It's like we're not going to sit around and be mopey for the rest of the evening. Let's gain something from this. But I thought that's it's a good thing to do. That's what marriage is about. And when I get down, she does the same for me.
Yeah. And if you aren't married and find yourself in this position, you need to be making a list of things that you can do in these moments, whether it be an activity, calling a friend, someone that you know will pick up and answer, um, things like that. Just things that someone that you can process your emotions with, and things like that. But make your own checklist of things that you can do um, in those moments where you just are missing and feeling sad. But don't keep yourself from feeling whatever it is you're feeling. Don't just shove it aside and push it down. Give yourself some time to actually think about it and process it and all of those things. So that is.
And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there a benefit toward our adult children on anything that we've talked about?
What do you mean?
Well, we're trying to help parents pivot from parents to adults. How does that help in that pivot? Or does it?
How does it help our relationship with them?
Yes.
When we are in this state,
Yes.
or getting through
I
state?
I think one thing that comes to mind for me is don't try to manipulate your downtime. Like if they ever to ask you, well, how's your 4th of July going? Oh, it really sucks. I wish I was there with you. And wham. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but I let them know that I was sad that I missed them.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you didn't put the guilt on them.
No, I think that's important.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
You're not wanting to manipulate and guilt your adult children.
Like somehow I need attention, feel bad for me, I'm the victim.
Yeah, and make sure that you are with me.
They need to know. They need to know that you can handle life without them,
yes.
Even though you want to be with them.
Because just like we aren't responsible for each other's emotions, our adult children are not responsible for our emotions either.
Right.
That is for us to deal with. So even though I was sad, it's mine. It's mine to deal with. I am sad. What am I going to do about being sad? What am I,
Yep.
That's on me.
And here we are. It's a few days later, and life is fine.
Yeah.
These emotions and these waves of emotion of loneliness or being left out or missing the kids or whatever, they pass. They feel real. It's like the check engine lights that come on in your car. It's like there's something going on down below and things. It's like, okay, I need to address it, but they pass. They're not reality. So whatever I'm creating in my head is not going to happen. I get up the next day, the sun's up, and our kids come home and we're having fun. We're back to normal all over again.
Yeah. It's just a few yucky days.
Yucky days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I wanted to make a plug for my son.
You ready, everybody? Here comes a plug from Julia Cummings from the Parent Pivot Podcast. Which son?
Campbell.
Okay, plug away.
So I don't know if we've mentioned that our second oldest is, he has joined FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Fellowship of Christian Athletes is a great ministry. They work really hard in getting into the local high schools and have what they call huddles. And during lunchtime, they might have someone come and speak, and they serve pizza to the kids. They're just trying to get them in the loop. And then FCA has they have camps, they have activities, they have all kinds of things that they do that are sports related. And the whole idea is that we use the sports to give them the message of the gospel.
Right.
So
middle schoolers and high schoolers.
It's a great, and I think it goes to college too. I think there's FCA.
Okay. Yeah, there is.
So it's a great program. Our son is in Reno. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there may be some of you out there who love to find new things to give to, who have raised money yourself for something, who have been on the mission field or on a mission trip, and you have raised money. Perhaps you have kids that have done that. And Campbell is working really hard to raise his support. So he's basically, how they have that set up is he's basically a missionary. And so he's like a missionary raising his own support. Where this gets tricky is they're new to Reno, so they don't have a big base there. And Fellowship of Christian Athletes is pretty new there. It's not, we're
trying to grow their young and new staff. There's like 6 of them, and he's trying to get to full-time and stuff. So
it is a big chore. And so I just thought, I'm going to just mention it. If anybody out there is looking for someplace to give, who maybe just listening to this is touched their heart, we're going to put Campbell's link in the show notes. And so that if that's that God moves your heart to do that, we would love to be able to help Campbell in some way.
Wow. And Dad's the fundraiser who's been doing this for 18 years, and Mom's the one making the pitch. Didn't even know that was going to happen.
And you didn't know that.
I did not know that. Yep. Did not know that. Wow. What a surprise. So, yeah, I mean, Fellowship of Christian Athletes is awesome. Tim Tebow's been a part of that. And that was Campbell's draw to being called to that ministry. He's felt called to Fellowship of Christian Athletes because of Tim Tebow. And that's what he wants to do. He's got an incredible heart, loves baseball, loves Jesus. And he's a new dad, and they need some more supporters up there, or supporters to support him. So if God puts that on your heart, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Hey, and you know how to get a hold of us. Check us out on social media. We're on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit subscribe, make a comment. We get likes and comments all the time. Tell us what you like, didn't like. We've got our own book that Julie's holding up called The Parent Pivot, 13 principles for building stronger relationships with your adult children. It's available on Amazon.com. We make no money off of it. So order a copy, and it's got a journal in there, ask you some good questions, think about your relationships with your adult kids, and grab a copy for some friends. Have your small group go through it. Put us online for your small group. We'd be happy to talk to your small group in your church or wherever. We've got some speaking engagements coming up and stuff. So let us know how we can help and talk about this, and get a hold of us on all the media platforms at Parent Pivot Podcast, at Facebook, YouTube. What else am I missing? Instagram, TikTok. Yes.
Yeah.
And send us a note, send us a comment, and we'd love to hear from you. And we appreciate all the great reviews that we're getting. Thank you. This is our ministry. We make no money off it. There's nobody selling soap or shampoo or drugs, not drugs, but like pharmaceutical drugs. I don't know about you guys, but we get tired of watching TV, and 10 times a night on the show, there's like all these pharmaceutical drug things. We're not doing that. We're just going to put this out there, and however way the Lord wants to do it, He's going to do it. So, yeah. And then when we get on the Homeward podcast, we'll send a link to that too. So that's kind of fun.
Like and share.
And we'll see you next week on the Parent Pivot Podcast.
Bye.